Do you ever envision anything, and then when that thing you envisioned turns out exactly like you thought it would, it takes you by surprise? Well, after the Chicago kidnapping story yesterday, I was quite keen to see what the media would say about it, particularly the Young Turks. But what I had envisioned when it came to the Young Turks coverage of this story was, one, them twisting it so people they see as morally wrong, like the right wing, aren't seen as the victims in this case. Two, some sort of, oh, look how disgusting these people are. And three, them diving on this grenade of a story to defend their ideology. So when I noticed the videos up this morning, I was quite taken back by how right I was, and fuck me, Young Turks, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. So let's take a look at what they actually said.
And so they drop him off at a McDonald's, and then all of a sudden they start getting text messages from the alleged perpetrators indicating that they're harming him and doing what they're doing to him. At that point, police are alerted, and then cops later found him roaming the streets wearing nothing more than his shorts. Now, authorities believe that the four suspects here had met with him. He had willingly met with one of them because he was acquainted with that individual through school, and they stole some sort of van, and then he ended up in a home or an apartment, this place, and they had tied him up and said all sorts of hideous things to him while doing all sorts of hideous things to him. So the 18-year-old man is shown crouching in a corner. In the video, carried on Facebook Live, his wrists are bound and his mouth is taped shut. As a woman shoots the video, two men cut the man's shirt with knives, then take turns punching him and stomping his head. One of the men cuts the victim's hair and scalp with a knife, and it appears the man is bleeding. About halfway through, someone says the man represents Trump and threatens to put him in the trunk of a car and put a brick on the gas. So investigators believe the man was targeted because he had special needs, not because he was white. But regardless of that, they have been charged with a hate crime, and race could potentially play a role in that.
Well, based on the quotes, it seems like it did.
Yeah.
So far in the reporting, it's not too bad, but all I can think is, if the races were reversed, Ana would be a lot more fucking worked up than she is now. I mean, we're talking about someone who gets worked up over whether people can use a certain bathroom or not, and then goes off on a rampage shouting, she's better than you.
Into it where they thought, this is going to go viral, this is great. They were Facebook Living this.
Well,
I mean,
right, I guess.
Think about that for a second, right? Where they think there's nothing wrong with the fact that we are literally torturing this guy who is powerless to defend himself.
Yeah.
They think, who cares? Who cares? This is going viral. I am so happy that they got caught.
And I wonder who the fuck gave them that idea. It couldn't have been you by any chance, could it? You know, the media that's been putting this, oh, Black Lives Matter can't do anything wrong, so whatever they say must be right. Now, later on in the video, they try and separate this incident from Black Lives Matter and the anti-white racist rhetoric they've been spewing. But we get onto that when they get onto it.
The Cook County State's Attorney's Office said it had filed felony criminal charges against 3 18-year-olds. So there they are. The names are Jordan Hill, Tesfaye Cooper, and Brittany Covington, as well as Tanisha Covington, 24. In addition to the hate crime charges, some of them also face additional counts of aggravated kidnapping, aggravated battery, and aggravated unlawful restraint. Police said they had found nothing tying the kidnapping to Black Lives Matter or any other group. I wanted to quickly mention that.
Well, this quickly mentions who's going to turn into their entire fucking video.
Okay, because there are certain pundits that are booked on cable news shows because they say outrageous things and it increases ratings and it gets eyeballs to watch their shitty programs, okay? And then there are the police and the investigators who are actually dealing with the facts and the situation. So far, there is no indication that these people are part of any type of political organization, any type of group of people who are protesting. So far, nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
But Here's the thing that you seem too stupid and too stuck up the arse of your own ideology to understand. Knowing is saying that Black Lives Matter orchestrated this, that there was some sort of conspiracy theory to kidnap some white mentally ill guy and torture him. Knowing is saying that. But this racist attitude and anti-white rhetoric, which has allowed this fucking awful event to happen, has been encouraged and justified by Black Lives Matter and the media that refuses to condemn them.
Anyone who claims that it does, they're doing it either for attention, for a political agenda, or to smear a group of people who have legitimate concerns about the way policing happens in this country.
Notice how much more angry Ana is now, whilst defending her ideology, than when she was explaining about how this guy got tortured for 30 minutes live on Facebook.
And even trying to portray the guy as a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
There's no evidence of that. Now, they mention Trump, so you can say that they have some sort of political objective.
Oh, but we don't know he was a Trump supporter, so a Trump supporter wasn't the victim. Therefore, it doesn't threaten our narrative of, oh, Trump's the dangerous supporters and we're the innocent ones.
That's fine. There's actually evidence for that. There's no evidence for the rest of it. And so the people, by the way, who, when spreading this initially, immediately inject that into it, including Glenn Beck and a bunch of other sick individuals, they are showing that at the end of the day, they don't care at all about this guy. They have no empathy for that victim. He is a pawn for them to attack a political organization that they want to attack. And that's why I tweeted earlier that there's something fucked up when black on white crime gives you an orgasm.
I wonder if there's a way to get John to see the hypocrisy of what he's just said. He's literally saying that people with different political opinion don't care about the victim, as is shown in their news coverage of the story, whereas only allocating 3 minutes of an 11-minute video to actually talk about the story and spending the rest of the time defending his ideology.
These people, this is the best day of the year for them. For some people, for some sick individuals, when they see a particular type of crime, they think, oh good, I can now attack a group that is in no way implicated in this crime. These are people who not only have no empathy, but go so far as that in all their interactions, I mean, we get attacked every day, they mock the very idea of having empathy for people.
What, like the empathy you're showing for the victim now, rather than concern for your ideology, is it, John?
They don't know this guy's name, they will never find out, they don't care.
You don't know the guy's name either, you fucking idiots!
They will set up no GoFundMes. Tomorrow they will have forgotten about this individual because for them it is about a political objective and not true empathy for a guy who went through something that no one should ever
And what have you done for him, John, other than use the story to attack people?
experience.
There is no one other than the most deplorable people on this planet who supports the actions of these people.
Come on, guys, you can do it.
Right? And I also want to be clear about one thing, okay? Black Lives Matter, of course, gets smeared time and time again in the media, but it's par for the course when it comes to our corporate media to smear protesters, because these are people who try to question authority. These are people who want to change a system that has been long established and works in the favor of those who work in corporate media and, you know, the political system that we have in place to keep them down.
Oh, Anna, you were so close to moving the conversation back onto what happened, and then you went and fucked it up by defending your ideology again.
If you want to use an example that has nothing to do with race, the same people who claim that they voted for Donald Trump because they feel like income inequality and wealth inequality and political injustice is a big problem in the country are the same people who also had lots of really negative things to say about Occupy Wall Street because they allowed the media to draw this narrative and smear Occupy Wall Street protesters as drug addicts, as losers.
You literally keep on saying that other people are using this news story to attack your side, and then go on to use this news story to attack the other side.
As bums. It happens over and over again. It doesn't matter what the movement is. It doesn't matter what the grievances are. It's a strategy that works over and over again. And so we focus on fighting each other instead of trying to improve a system that benefits us all, not just black people, but everyone in society that could potentially be a victim of police brutality.
Yeah.
So if by your own admission, anyone can be a victim of police brutality, why the fuck are you making it a race issue?
Yeah.
Everyone in society that is already a victim of economic injustice, right?
Yeah.
And so the smearing happens in the media, not only because the corporate media loves it, but because it gets eyeballs on their programs, right? And again, we never accomplish anything. So I'm tired of my job, personally, being minimized to responding to idiots who get booked on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News.
Well, I guess the people on Fox News thinks that the people they have on are better than you and that you're garbage.
And so the real problem here is that a defenseless person was victimized and there should be justice for him. And luckily, these 4 people were arrested and there will be justice. That's the story.
Yeah.
Yep, that's just it. We don't need to talk about what led up to this. We don't need to talk about in any more detail about what happened. But we do need to talk about how we're not the bad guys and we're right and you're wrong. And how Anna's better than you.
Unless there is some evidence indicating that these people have anything to do with Black Lives Matter, that is not part of the discussion.
Ironic how it's been all you've talked about. And do you notice how angry she looks that people dare say something bad against a movement she supports? And yes, there is evidence. The footage of them marching in the streets saying kill cop and fuck white people. The big names in Black Lives Matter spewing absolute horrible racist rhetoric, which if it was racist were reversed, you would not fucking stand for it. And all this media garbage about, oh, Trump winning is white people's fault. And all the cases where people from Black Lives Matter have beating up Trump supporters.
Exactly. And look, people try to say, they just want you to think that Black Lives Matter is a violent organization. That is the only thing they want, is for you to think that. And so when they make that case that Black Lives Matter is violent, what example do they give? They give the same example that they have for a long time, the fry 'em like bacon thing about the cops.
One
the
chant.
People, yeah, the chant. You know when that happened? That happened 18 months ago. Not only is Black Lives Matter not a violent organization, that's how goddamn non-violent it is, that even asshole racists who are trying to smear it have to go 18 months back to a couple of people involved in one parade in an organization that has independent chapters in every American city.
And
that's the best you have? You are admitting there that it is not a violent organization.
You bunch of spineless fucking liars. I know it's not just one incident, and I know you know it's not just one incident. Coincidentally, as I was editing, Sargon uploaded a video where he goes through different examples of times where Black Lives Matter have been violent and have been racist, which I will link in the description below.
And look, the amazing part about all of this is the very clear double standard, right? You can have our president-elect go up there, say on the podium during the election that he wants to punch people in the face, right? Advocating or inciting violence, but that's okay. That's totally fine. And then you have some random individuals out there chanting fry 'em like bacon, and that's it. They have now painted a picture for an entire movement in the country to the point where something like this happens and
First of all, saying you would like to punch someone in the face is not inciting violence. It's not a nice thing to say, but it doesn't encourage violence. Secondly, there's a big difference between talking about one person and a whole group of people. And then considering after that chant, a Black Lives Matter member went and killed 5 cops, too fucking right we're gonna call it out for being a violent organisation.
that's it. It's immediately tied to that organization.
Yeah.
So that's what's
Sad
going
people.
on, and it's depressing because if you really genuinely care about justice, then you would focus on what the facts are. And in this case, the facts are that, again, a defenseless person was victimized, and we need to make sure that we carry out justice so stuff like this doesn't continue to happen. By the way, it's happened in Chicago, where crime is insane right now. That's another problem. So let's shift our focus on dealing with crime in Chicago as opposed to smearing people based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
This report was one of the most hypocritical, intellectually dishonest news reports that I have ever seen. It completely ignored the issue at hand, was blindly defended Black Lives Matter, was completely denying that there's any evidence of any wrongdoing on their part. If you want to check out how prominent Black Lives Matter members have reacted to this incident, I will leave a link below to Amazing Atheist's last video. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, leave a comment below, and I shall see you next time. You bunch of